Welcome back to the channel, you guys. You know what you're here for today. You're here to find out which gaming handheld is the best. And we're not including the Switch. These are PC handheld consoles. The one we're talking about specifically today is the Steam Deck, and why I choose the Steam Deck over all the others. Now, I'm guessing you have a lot of questions, because I know I did when I was doing my research on which one I wanted, because I'm not famous or anything, so I can't get all these products for free. ROG, I'm looking at you. You want to send one my way? I'll test it. First off, is the Steam Deck worth the money? Absolutely. 100% worth every penny you'll pay for, if there's a few things. One, if you need to be playing your games mobily, or not necessarily just mobily. Like, I'd like to take mine upstairs. So this room down here is down in the basement. So when the family's upstairs, I don't always like to come down here and play some video games and chill, because I feel away from them. So I'll bring the Steam Deck upstairs. Been a very great quality of life. So if you're a dad or a mom and you like gaming on your PC, the Steam Deck allows you to do that right next to your kids. Pretty easy. What's nice about the Steam Deck too, if you're playing games that you can pause and put down, the cloud saving, seamless, all that kind of stuff. And then you're probably thinking, well, what makes it better than the ROG Ally or the Legion Go? Well, let me tell you what makes it better later on in the video. And then you're probably wondering, well, okay, I do want the Steam Deck, but which one, LCD or OLED? Do I get the 512 or the 1 terabyte? There's lots of questions. Hopefully I can answer all these in the video for you. So stick around. All right, let's start with the first and biggest question. What separates the Steam Deck from the ROG Ally and the Legion Go? Now, in all honesty, I have not ever played on the Legion Go or the ROG Ally. I have held them and felt them both from Best Buy, just at sitting on the display. You can't pick them up. I will say that the Steam Deck is probably the most comfortable out of all of them. The ROG Ally is a pretty close second. The one thing that separates the Steam Deck from the other two devices is its functionality and its reliability. So the OS is built exactly for this purpose, to be able to take games on the go, use touchscreen inputs, all that kind of stuff. The other two run Windows 11, and it is it's not a mobile version or a handheld version. It's pure Windows 11. So there's a lot of confusion on the OS, thinking that the ROG Ally and the Legion Go are actually full-on PCs, and they're pretty powerful. I will say that those two consoles in perspective are more powerful than the Steam Deck. But the Steam Deck works every single time you turn it on. No fiddling or fuddling with the graphics, none of that stuff. Sometimes you got to turn the locked FPS slider over, but it literally is push one button, it pops up, and you just slide it over. That's it. And then you get out. A little add-on here is, if you already have a Steam library, you already have a gaming PC, a couple things. You can remote play your PC with your Steam Deck. So it allows your Steam Deck to have more battery life, because it's using the power from your PC to run all the graphics and everything. That'll also make the games look better on the Steam Deck. The OLED model does do a very good job of keeping up. It's only 90 hertz refresh rate, but I think it's more than enough when you're mobile. If you want to be playing games at 120 FPS, you got to be at a desktop. There's no way you're going to get anywhere near that with anything on the go. Now that the Steam Deck is the one you're choosing, let's get into the versions of the Steam Deck and which one you should select. Now here on desktop, we got the LCD version down here that is $400 for 256 gigabytes. Unless you really don't care about the display, the memory, or the refresh rate, I would go ahead and get this. But if you want to future-proof your Steam Deck for at least another couple, 2-3 years, I would go definitely with the OLED version, especially the 512. 512 is more than enough memory, unless you're a maniac and you like to leave every game installed all the time. Luckily, It's pretty easy to expand the memory, both with an SD card. So every version has an SD card slot, so you can buy them. They're usually way cheaper than upgrading the way that they have you do here. So I'm going to put the LCD version to the side. That's for a very niche person. I would recommend just not doing it because you're going to regret it and want to upgrade later on. I've heard some creators say that they don't regret it. They're totally fine with the LCD version, but I can almost promise you, you're going to want to come back to it. But if you can't afford it, get the LCD version. You're going to be totally happy. So let's go over the 512 OLED version versus the 1 terabyte. There are pretty minor differences in my opinion. So there's an anti-glare screen on the 1 terabyte. Now my version's the 1 terabyte, and I kind of wish I would have saved $100 and went with the 112. So it has an anti-glare screen. Now I have a screen protector on here. That's the number one thing I suggest doing. We'll talk more about that in the end of the video. But basically, when you have light on here, it'll reduce the glare. It's pretty noticeable. I wouldn't say if you don't have it, it's not the end of the world. Plus, you could just buy like a $15 screen protector like I have on here. Does the same thing. One more difference I forgot between the LCD and the OLED versions, the battery life. The OLED has a far better battery life than the LCD versions. Just another little piece to it. And it has Wi-Fi 6E. On the OLED versions, where it has Wi-Fi 5 on the LCD versions. It's another reason to go with the OLEDs. Now, obviously, there's more storage on the 1 terabyte, but it's pretty easy with, like I said, an SD card. You can also upgrade the internal storage with a new SSD. I would recommend not doing that in the first couple of years at least, because they do come with limited warranties. So if anything breaks, valve will replace it. But I'm guessing if you go and open up the Steam Deck, that warranty is now null and void. So they both have the same Wi-Fi, the same battery life, the same size screen, and the same refresh rate. The only difference between the screens is that anti-glare on there. Then there's one more difference with the 1 terabyte. It's the carrying case. Remove this secondary case. So you have this big boy here. That's like an outer shell. And then you have this smaller version here. This will fit in most bags. Like I have a small shoulder bag that I like to bring to like Disneyland and stuff. This would fit in there. The big chunky boy will not. There's obviously less protection with this. I'd still feel pretty safe with it in there though. And then as you can see here, you get an exclusive startup movie, which the startup movies, when you turn them on, certain things happen. One of my favorites is the Hades version. Oh, man. Zeus throws a thunderbolt. All this stuff happens. Really cool. You get those on the Point Shop. You also get an exclusive virtual keyboard theme, which I haven't even used the virtual keyboard, so I definitely have. I haven't really noticed the theme of the keyboard. So do with what you will. I kind of regret and wish I would have went with the 512 version and upgrade my storage later on. Now, just a couple things that I want to touch on that are accessories for this thing that I think are the number one things you should do. Now, if you plan on emulating, which is taking older games and emulating onto your Steam Deck, I would suggest getting a dock and a SD card. Now, which dock you get doesn't matter. I got Anchors on Amazon. It was like $30. The version that you can get with Steam is $80. Let me check. Yes, the dock that you can get from Steam is $80. It's right here just on the bottom underneath. This is your $80 price tag here. Not really worth it in my opinion. You can find way cheaper ones on Amazon. Now, you're probably also asking yourself, what kind of games can the Steam Deck handle? There are tons of games that this can handle. Really surprises me. The number one that really surprised me that ran relatively well was The Witcher 3. Obviously, you're not going to get the same graphic standard if you're playing on your gaming PC tower, but you could play this game and it would still look pretty good. Cyberpunk is another one that you'll see that you can play. It's Steam Deck verified. Uh, that one's a little laggy, a little glitchy at points, depending on what you're doing, but it runs really well, like a little glitchy, and then it goes away. Even the games that say not supported will run just fine at most times. I was playing Lego The Lord of the Rings because it was in my library, and I wanted to see how it run on the Steam Deck because, big surprise, wasn't playable. So wanted to test it out, and there's a point where there's some lava, and the lava was rainbow colored. It was kind of funny because it's a Lego game. Anybody that's played Lego games knows that there's some comedy in there. So I thought that was kind of funny. Uh, totally wasn't the game. It was definitely how the Steam Deck was running it. But if that's the biggest problem, man, I'll still play it. So you're probably asking, how do you know if a game is playable? Well, if you have a gaming PC and you already have a Steam Deck library, if you go to your library, you click on a game that you want to see. So let's see. I've been playing lots of Stardew Valley on my Steam Deck. Very good game. If you go to the store page for the game, which is right here, it'll take you to the store. You scroll down just a little bit, and right here, there is the Steam Deck compatibility, and it's verified. So some of them will say playable, which will give you like an orange exclamation point. Usually what that means when that happens is that it's playable, but like some of the text is going to be really tiny on the screen. I just ignore it and play it anyways. Also, if you have the Stream Deck, when you're in your library, it says great on deck. So it'll show you all the best games that are for the Steam Deck and which ones to play. So that's a great little tab. A bonus game I want to bring up here. This is free for the Steam Deck. It's called Aperture Desk Job, and it's a maybe 30-minute campaign, and it just showcases the Steam Deck and all the features it can do. It's a really cool showcase of what the Steam Deck can do and what it can't do. Plus, there's a hilarious story as you follow a robot through some levels and stuff like that. It's extremely funny. All right, quick recap. So, what makes the Steam Deck better than the ROG Ally or the Legion Go? In my opinion, it is the OS, the operating system. It's very stable, no crashes. I've had zero problems with the Steam Deck so far. Turn it on, can play at any moment, as long as it's charged. I forgot to mention one thing, battery life. What's the battery life like on this thing? Well, I played for my longest play session, I think was 4.5, 5 hours. My battery was still around 35, 40%. Full charge to 35 to 40%. I would say that's a really, really good. I don't know how often you're going to be sitting there playing for longer than 4.5 to 5 hours, maybe a flight. But I think you could use seat charging and at least keep the Steam Deck from going dead. I don't know if it'll keep it charged on the chair charge, but heck, you got to switch to something else after that long of a flight. I wouldn't want to play video games for that long anyways. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button to help me make more videos like this if you guys are liking them. What's the differences between LCD and the OLED? Well, LCD has a less battery life. Huge important thing. This screen doesn't have as high of a resolution, and because it's not OLED, it isn't going to show colors as well. The screen is also slightly bigger, 0.4 inches larger on the OLED models. And you get a lot more storage. You get twice as much if you get just the 512 version. You get 4 times as much with the 1 terabyte. Is that right? I don't know if that math's right. It's late at night. Don't come at me, comment section. What games work on it? Anything that says Steam Deck verified is going to be your best bet, which is a very large library of games. Obviously, you should stick to ones that have a little bit less graphics, but even things like The Witcher 3 do run on the Steam Deck. I would just really stamper your expectations. Like, don't expect to be playing at the best quality of graphics, but it will run absolutely good. Smooth, easy, no stuttering. I liked it.